Hello, I'm Dr. Jo Barstow, and I'm a former recipient of a Royal Astronomical Society Research Fellowship. The Royal Astronomical Society offers research fellowships to support early career researchers in the fields of astronomy and geophysics in establishing their own independent research programmes. The Society offers 2 different fellowships, and each is offered once every 3 years. The Royal Astronomical Society Research Fellowship is offered for research in any branch of astronomy or geophysics, whilst the Norman Lockyer Fellowship is offered for research on an astronomical topic, including solar system and planetary science. This year, the RAS is soliciting applications for the Royal Astronomical Society Research Fellowship. Research fellowships offer the opportunity to work independently for 3 years on a project chosen by the applicant. The fellowship will fund the applicant's salary, national insurance and pension contributions, and also come with an additional £2,000 per annum that can be used for other expenses such as computing or travel. Fellowships may be taken up from the 1st of October in the year following the application, or at any point in the 6 months immediately after. This year, fellowships may be taken up from the 1st of October 2025. Since these fellowships are targeted at early career researchers, applicants must have obtained their PhD no more than 3 years before the nominal start date of the fellowship. If applicants have not yet obtained a PhD, they must have undertaken their Viva examination before the application deadline. Fellowships must be taken up at a UK academic institution, so applicants should be able to demonstrate their right to work in the UK. To apply for a fellowship, you must submit a CV, a research proposal outlining your planned programme of work, and a list of publications. You must also have obtained the approval of your intended host institution, as they are required to provide a signature. Finally, you must submit the details of 2 academic referees who can comment on your work and your suitability for a fellowship. This information should all be submitted via the web form linked from the fellowship call page. You should consider places that are a good fit for your science, but it is also perfectly reasonable to select a host institution for family or other personal reasons. Host institutions require an existing member of staff to sponsor your application, so it's worth getting in touch in plenty of time, especially since they may also have an internal selection process. Your research proposal needs to define your research question, explain why that question is important and interesting, describe the work that you are going to do to address it, and justify why you are the right person to be doing this research. All this can seem really daunting if you haven't been working in research for very long. If you're struggling to identify a research question, a good tip is to consider what your unique selling point is. Matching up your unique skills with a relatively unexplored avenue in your field is a really good beginning to defining a research question. If you're unsure about how the proposal should be structured, it's a good idea to look at previous examples of successful proposals. It's also really useful to get support from your colleagues and from your supervisor, because getting some feedback on what you've written is the best way to improving and refining it. All applications will be reviewed by a panel appointed by the RAS, which will consist of RAS Fellows, non-RAS Fellows, and members of RAS Council. Each application will be sent out for independent review by 2 experts in the relevant field. Shortlisted candidates will be invited to interview for the position, and these will take place early in the year following the application deadline. If you're invited to interview, you will be asked to briefly summarise your research project, why it's interesting, and the work that you plan to do. The panel will then ask you some further questions about your project, about your work up to date, and also your ambitions for the future. It's natural to be nervous ahead of a big interview like this, but it's worth remembering that the panel will be really interested to hear all about your science. I hope you found this video helpful, and I encourage you to apply for an RAS-funded fellowship if you are eligible. My fellowship was the catalyst to me obtaining longer-term research funding and achieving my current academic position. An early career fellowship is a great beginning to independence in research.